thanks again to everybody who's been watching the podcast and supporting us and giving us feedback here with competing in Cornfields. I'm here with Gabe Fraher, and we have much to get to, so I'm going to hurry up and jump through these ads. As always, thank you to 360 Fades Barbershop here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Check them out for your next haircut or shave. They can do whatever you want once you get there, and they also have a bunch of hair products, beard products, all kinds of things. And if you're a fat boy like me, you know exactly where Cane's is on 48th Street, right by Target as well. And so check them out. It's right behind there. And we are also brought to you by Jingmo Tong Athletic Association. This is a great place to learn traditional Chinese martial arts and much more here in Lincoln, Nebraska. They have an emphasis on maintaining tradition while training modern applications. So I'm not really doing it justice, in my opinion. So you should definitely just check them out on Facebook and also Ray Peterson's Facebook. They have drums. They've been rocking out. They have the whole lion dance, which is amazing. So shout out to Jingmo Tong. And thanks again to Craig Willicke and Willicke Financial Group, LLC. They're here in Lincoln, Nebraska, 1221 North Street, Suite 100, Lincoln, Nebraska. Reach out to them for any of your financial needs or, just a financial advisor in general. Craig does a good job with all that. Trustworthy guy. All three of these sponsors have been supporting me since my very first fight, so I appreciate them. And, let's get to it. I'm here with Gabe Fraher, and he wears many hats. Expert electrician, active MMA fighter, and mullet connoisseur. What am I missing here, Gabe?
It's pronounced mole. It's French, Clint. But Merry Christmas to everyone watching. This is the Competing in Cornfields Christmas special. So glad to be here.
See. I didn't know about the whole connoisseur, or what? Mole. Yeah. That's kind of like Jesse Smollett. Anyway.
I don't know if I was as full of shit as he is, but...
Sometimes I feel like I'm close. But, anytime. Anyway, but we had... I was supposed to have my comedy debut last night, and Gabe was, supposed to go up as well. And we actually had a group of people there, but it didn't go as well as planned. Do you have anything to say about that, Gabe?
Well, I think the joke was on us because we're going to a bar on Christmas Eve, and most of my set was making fun of who would be at a bar on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
In the audience, and come
Turns
to find
out
out no one was there but us. So
yeah.
We had a good laugh about it and went over our sets together anyway because I was dying to know some of the stuff that you wrote, and I wasn't disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Clint has a promising future in stand-up comedy.
I appreciate that. I'm going to unhook this mic real quick. All right, we're still good.
Okay.
And that did make me feel good hearing, the support from you, Cody, Luke. Luke is actually pretty legit in stand-up, right? Luke Hawley.
Yeah, he's definitely seen more stage time than all of us combined. I couldn't tell you how many shows he's done. You'd have to ask him, but I know he's done it quite a bit for the last year or so.
Yeah. And I think that we're actually going to be right back on stage on January 15th in Papillion, Nebraska. Shout out to all my Omaha and Papillion, Bellevue friends. Definitely come out to that. It's at the Eagles Club. More on that later. And, we'll get some stuff patted down and figure it out. So, how about MMA?
My last fight was in September. It was a barn burner for anyone that was there, and
fight of the year. If that doesn't win fight of the year, that competition is rigged.
I'll keep my opinions myself on that one, but
that's John's opinion too.
I appreciate that.
I'm pretty sure that's John's opinion too. After talking to him, he's like, "Yeah, it was entertaining." I'm like, "Yes, it was entertaining," but obviously.
I didn't get to jump right back into another competition like I was kind of hoping because just some hand injuries that happened in that fight, but kind of got busy with work and trying the whole stand-up thing out. So I've kind of put MMA on the back burner, but I mean this spring it's kind of coming up, and we'll see where I'm looking.
Yeah.
So.
So I guess whenever you were in camp for your last fight, you and I worked a bunch, and actually at your home gym as well. Worked on like getting on the cage, getting off the cage. worked on takedown defense, stuff like that, and just wearing people out, like leaning on people. So whenever your last fight was announced with John Kuhneman, shout out to John, really nice guy. But I thought, whatever, it's another fight. That's cool. Like, I fight too, sure, whatever. And then I saw John's Instagram, and then I saw some of the feats of strength that he was pulling off. You know, deadlifting 700 pounds, squatting 600 pounds. That I was like a tiny bit like afraid for you. I obviously didn't say that to you, and we obviously
I think everyone a little
hard.
was. Yeah.
All right. So what I'm trying to get at is, did anybody literally come out and say that to you, that they didn't want you to fight him?
I think we all went into that fight knowing we had our work cut out for us. Obviously, I let myself go, and getting back in shape was probably my biggest obstacle to overcome. Obviously, was the veteran with more fights under my belt, but John is a specimen of a human being, and I think he has a bright future in this sport. And
in a good way.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And you know, I think with more experience and his obviously freakish, gifted athletic ability, I mean, I think he's got a bright future in this sport. I'm kind of trying to get out of MMA. I probably have 1 or 2 fights left in me, and then I'm probably going to be focusing on comedy, 100%. So, you know, as my friend Luke Holly told me, you know, chase 2 rabbits, catch neither. So, we got to narrow down to 1 rabbit here.
Well, you're either all out or you're all in. Kind of like if you're defending a triangle, like either you're all out or you're all in.
Yeah.
Like on your triangle defense. That's what DC says. And also, you know, that's smart of Luke, and he knows firsthand. You know, MMA fighter, comedian, stuff like that. So you know, that's really good. And you know, one thing that I really did want to bring up to you before I forget is like you know, you see a lot of people before fights, or like, in my opinion, I prefer not to see my opponent. I prefer not to talk to them or like have very much interaction with them before a fight. And you and John actually like were pretty cordial, right? And like at least talk to each other a couple times beforehand.
Yeah, well, we ran into each other at the Cornhusker State Games. Actually, it's funny. We were all 2-3 months before the fight. We were in much different weight classes because of the weight I had to lose. But I did see him at the Cornhusker State Games. We were cool. We talked a lot, and yeah, he's just a great kid. And not everything in MMA has to be personal, especially for me. I mean, it's just like playing football or baseball against someone that you know. I mean, it's not personal, but you definitely want to go out there and win the game and have your bragging rights at the end of the day. So
yeah, you prefer not to lose.
Yeah, there was no ill will towards each other. I mean, we just knew that we were both guys that you know, with winning streaks, and we wanted to keep it going. You know, put our undefeated records on the line that night. So
yeah, I think John even has plans of going down to 185, which is crazy to think about where he started too.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a big 185er, but I think he's disciplined enough that he'll have no problem making 85. And you know, the kid works hard. I have nothing but good things to say about him. So
young and hungry.
I told him he's gained a fan and a supporter for life. So you know, I hope it works out.
1,000,000%. Yeah, no. Shout out to John once again. So like, hold on, you said that you know, you had to lose a bunch of weight before your last fight. Do you think that helped you? Like that you had to have the discipline to do that, to lose all that weight? That helped you like straight through fight camp, or it must have, in my opinion.
It was a tight schedule from the beginning with that. I had conversations with my trainer. Shout out to Stuart Hart, who got me in tip-top shape. And Bill Diekman also played a huge part in getting my, you know, he made sure I was doing something on a Sunday and there was no days off on that training camp because of the tight schedule to make the weight and lose the weight. There was no margin for error on that weight cut. So about 60 pounds total when it was all said and done.
60 pounds.
That had to been lost, for at least on the scale. I mean, I definitely, there was some water weight at the end there, but essentially the number had to fluctuate 60 pounds when it was all said and done to make that fight. So
yeah, and I feel like you have to get in shape if you're like losing that much weight. Like you have to be in like decent cardiovascular shape, and you know, stuff like that, right?
100%. Once again, my Stuart Hart had me so whipped into shape. You know, the first 5 training sessions were hell, and I don't even know what. The hardest thing I ever had to do was just show up to those training sessions for the first couple weeks that I did it, because I was really probably went from a point where I was at the worst shape I've ever been in, you know, hitting that 270 mark and walking away from MMA for 2 years to just, you know, getting back to where I was and even further than I surpassed what I considered the best shape I was ever in and actually got to better shape that I've never even seen before going into that fight. So
well, you got to test yourself. Like, like decisions are decisions. Like, like things could go either way. I'm not saying that they like made a wrong decision or anything like that, but like, um, I feel like you have to feel good after making it 3 rounds, like in a fight like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and executing your game plan. Most people like will go ahead and throw out everything that they worked on. I've done this before. So most people or some people might like throw out everything that they've been working on and just get involved in a brawl. But you were able to keep cool and weather a storm and do all kinds of stuff.
I credit that a lot to, well, I think one, little bit more experience I had in the cage than my opponent that night, and two, I mean, I had Greg Larson and Nick Honstein in my corner, and we were super honest about how that fight was going to go. We didn't think we were going to go out there and dominate every aspect of that fight, but we knew that the longer the fight continued, the better chance we had. We wanted to drag that fight into deep waters, and Nick was. I feel like we were just honest with ourselves and knew the first round was probably not going to go our way, and we just had to show up for the second, and that's what we did. And I think Nick, I think Nick's pep talk and where we were at going into that fight and in between rounds. I mean, I credit that a lot to how that fight turned out. So, shout out to my coach and good friend Nick Honstein and my jiu-jitsu coach Greg Larson, who were both in my corner for that fight. So.
Shout out to Nick and Greg in Lincoln Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Center. So, yeah, I mean, if there's anything else you want to touch on MMA, we can definitely do that. Otherwise, I was gonna go a little bit into comedy.
We can talk about comedy.
All right. Well, so like I've also been into comedy like since high school. Like I told you guys a joke that I made up in high school.
Right.
And everybody was a hater on me, even like my own family a little bit. Like as far as comedy, I would write jokes. I bought every single season of Seinfeld on DVD, and I watched it every night before bed. And that was like what I did. And I was obsessed with observational comedy, like things that you saw. I'm like, hey, that's kind of funny. Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld was my guy. How did you get into comedy?
I think I've always just been kind of fleeked to being the class clown as a kid. I mean, I think my interest in making people laugh it was long before I really followed stand-up. I mean, obviously, I think my first introduction to stand-up was Dane Cook when I was in grade school. But I'd say Joe Rogan and Daniel Tosh probably played a bigger part in me really understanding stand-up from an art form and the kind of comedy and audience that you build and the kind of humor you portray and just that dark humor where you're not supposed to be laughing, but you can get people that are respectable people that are good people that have normal jobs, but then they hear something that they should not laugh at, but they do anyway, and that's the type of humor that I've always been attracted to. And obviously, for some people, it doesn't go over well, and other people, it's funny too. So it's you don't always get the most friends with that kind of humor, but that's definitely my humor. So,
what I'm kind of trying to do is I like that dark humor and stuff like that mixed with the everyday like Jerry Seinfeld stuff. Like, hey, you never notice about airplanes or
right, kind of that cliche, but it's still funny. Yeah, no. And you kind of had a similar tone with that. I don't want to give away the details. You're gonna have to come see Clinton in person or
please do.
Myself. We're not gonna tell jokes here. That'd be too easy. But you definitely kind of had that. You kind of let that cliche observational style comedy actually work to your advantage because it can be funny if it's done right. Anything can be funny if it's done right, and I think that's what the art form of comedy is it's all in the delivery. There's how many comics are funny in person, and you could hand copy their sketch word for word and then try and repeat it to a different audience, and it wouldn't be funny coming from another person. They made it their own, and so I've always had an interest in doing that myself and making my craft the best it can be. So, but I definitely grew up around people that didn't always find the things I had to say funny, and so I for a while I kind of tried to keep it to myself, but now I just I can't anymore. And if someone likes it, cool. If not, then walk on, I guess.
Yeah, and I've actually since like most of my comedy isn't so my sense of humor isn't always dark. It's 50-50 dark and good. And I would always just go ahead and say my jokes that are good, not dark humor. just monotone, like normal, like nothing was going on, and then watch people's reactions and like
You want to see who's paying attention.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, dude, just drop little bombs for people, like
Zingers.
metaphorical. Yeah. Just let it hang, and then they're like, "Wait a second, did you do what?"
You can't say that.
Yeah. Like, but I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think comedy is also playing a huge role in kind of fighting against that woke cancel culture. Comedians are the people who kind of have the guts to go against the trend and the grain, so to speak, and they're not backing down from people who are trying to say what you can and cannot say anymore, and it's like, well, we can, and here we are.
Yeah.
So I respect comedy. Good comedy to me has always spoken truth to power, and I hope it always stays that way. So
I agree, and one thing that I think is cool about comedy is like Luke Hawley. We were talking last night, and he's not the biggest guy in the world. Neither am I. But like he was saying that he was saying stuff to intentionally rile up two large ladies who were with two big dudes, and so they probably could have trampled on him if they really tried. But like you can go ahead and say that because you're on stage, and that's one thing that I look forward to. Not exactly that I need revenge or anything like that, but you can say whatever you want, and like nobody's protected. You know what I mean? Like there's and also like you're not supposed to say stuff about people who are like overweight or stuff about people's race, which I agree with, or a bunch of or people's age or anything like that. But somehow short people aren't in a protected class. How did this happen? Like some of those things you can change. Like maybe just your weight. You can most likely change that. But short people aren't in a protected class, but whenever you're a comedian, you can say whatever you want, basically. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And I'm trying to work that into a joke too. Please don't steal it.
Oh, he's you're short and pissed off, ready to take on the world. I see. Got that little man syndrome going, comedy going, or
dude, not even. But and it doesn't bother me. Like I've heard it all. I hear it every day whenever I go to jiu-jitsu. Oh my God, your legs are short, your arms are short, blah blah blah. I hear it every day. But like it's fine, it's whatever, I don't care. But if you say like, hold on, your belly's too big, I can't close my guard around you, they'd be like, hey, you don't say that. Like, hold on, but you were just talking about me being short and then being stubby and crap. Like, but yeah, I don't know.
I think people at the gym should have to buy us Chick-fil-A when they make fun of us for being fat to make it up.
Yeah.
To us, so.
Yeah.
Shout
Into
out
our
Chick-fil-A.
Canes. Shout out to 360 Fades right behind Canes on 48th.
Just, get a fade and then, like, kind of just go around Canes, go right to Chick-fil-A.
Yo.
Lord's Chicken. Shout out.
Yeah. Well, we can take a left and go to McDonald's. I'm not mad at that either.
McDonald's was always there for you through the good times and the bad and on Sundays. So, don't forget to show some love to Mickey D's either.
They never let me down. But, yeah. But, oh, man. Anyway. All right, so yesterday I was at work, and I ended up telling one person that I was going to do an open mic night, and then that ended up being like 10 people knowing about it. And then like, whoa, man, are you scared, nervous, blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I might be nervous about if I actually super make somebody upset or actually offend somebody. I don't care about somebody being like outraged for no reason. Like if they're, like with their cancel culture or whatever, I don't care about that. But if somebody is like seriously offended and sad, I would feel bad. Other than that, I don't care. I fought in my undies in Pinnacle Bank Arena.
If you're easily offended though, what are you doing at the comedy club? I mean, to me that's like going to the water park and getting mad when you get wet or something. It's it just goes back to if you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. So,
I love that.
If you're in a comedy club and you're heckling a comedian because he said something that offended you, I think you're in the right to just leave and keep the comment to yourself. But just what do I know?
Yeah, no, I mean, and hopefully the club would go ahead and throw out like a heckler, like a hater who is hating on your set or anything like that. I mean, you should be able to say basically whatever you want.
I mean, as long as it's not a call to action or of something violent. But 100% you should be able to say what you want. I mean, this is probably the only country with free speech, so I mean, let's be proud of that and stand for that. And if you don't if you don't believe in that right for people you despise, you don't believe in it at all. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's perfect. America.
America.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to go over? I don't.
I think we covered the basis. I mean, check out, what is it, January
15th. Eagles Club in Papillion, Nebraska.
Clint and I will be there. I think Luke Hawley
Yeah.
wanted to be on that show. My buddy Jim Witter, who used to train with me back in the day, he's also getting into comedy. So shout out to Jim. We've written a lot of our jokes together, and I think Luke and Clint, we're all going to be kind of in that same. We're going to be all writing together here soon. So hopefully, come check us out. We'll keep you guys updated on my Facebook and Clint's Facebook as well, and come have a laugh on us sometime. So.
Yeah. No, we'll be spitting that fire. All right, thanks everybody for watching Competing in Cornfields. Shout out to 360 Phase, Jing Mo Tong, and Wilkie Financial Group and Craig Wilkie. Have a good one. Bye. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Bye.